What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the DCEU season here on Cinematic Reviews. I'm your host, Chris, and this is the show about all things movies and TV. Every week, I give my thoughts and reactions to the newest releases, beloved franchises, and even upcoming projects, like the Star Wars universe and the MCU. You can, of course, support the show by giving it a rating/review on your favorite podcast service, as well as following it on all social media platforms. Just search for Cinematic Reviews, or you can find all the handles on the Facebook page. All of this helps out the show a lot, and I really do appreciate all of the support from the fans out there. You guys are truly awesome. It's finally here. Black Adam released in theaters this past weekend, and I'll be giving my spoiler-filled reaction to it for the finale of the Cinematic Reviews' DC Extended Universe season. Black Adam stars Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam, Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, and Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. I'm super excited to talk about this newest installment in the DCEU, but first, let's talk about some facts about the film. Black Adam was released in theaters on October 21st, 2022, and was directed by Collet-Serra. He is best known for films such as House of Wax, Orphan, and Unknown, which stars Liam Neeson. Black Adam has so far grossed $140 million worldwide against a $200 million budget. Jordan Peele was originally offered the director chair, but declined. Peele has stated that he is not a fan of superhero films and does not want to take the chance away from someone that does. Black Adam was originally going to appear in Shazam, but it was later decided that he would debut in his own solo film first. I think this was a really good idea to kind of give fans some more backstory on these two characters, and then maybe eventually have their fight, which would be totally awesome after seeing them do a couple solo films first. Pierce Brosnan wore a motion capture suit for his role as Dr. Fate. Hawkgirl and Stargirl were originally going to appear, but were removed in favor of Cyclone. Liam Neeson was considered for the role of Dr. Fate. He has worked with Collet-Serra on 4 films: Unknown, Nonstop, Run All Night, and The Commuter. I think Liam Neeson would have been an interesting choice for Dr. Fate, but I think Pierce Brosnan totally nailed it, and I think they got the right guy for the job. Armie Hammer and Alexander Skarsgård were considered for the role of Hawkman. Those would have been awesome choices as well, but I think Hodge just totally nailed the Hawkman character. I'm really glad that he was the one picked for that role. Cyclone in the film has a toy monkey. In the comics, she has a pet monkey named Frankie. And then lastly, when attempting to free Black Adam, Dr. Fate performs the hand signs from his victory animation in the Injustice 2 video game. That was really cool because I am a huge fan of those two games. With that, let's get to my reaction to Black Adam. So Dwayne Johnson makes his DC Extended Universe debut in Black Adam, and it was totally awesome. I really enjoyed this newest installment in the universe. Dwayne was such a badass as Black Adam, and the action was incredible. It honestly felt like a Zack Snyder film to me. It had the same grittiness and slow-mo effects in it. It was awesome. The cast was also really, really awesome as well, especially Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. He honestly stole the movie for me, even though it was a Dwayne Johnson film. I just really loved the Hawkman character in this. Hodge's take on him was perfect. Really well done. I hope to see him in future DC projects. Another character that I absolutely loved was Dr. Fate, who was played by the great Pierce Brosnan. I've always been a huge fan of Dr. Fate. I love his powers. He can see into the future while also having these magical abilities. Kind of like Doctor Strange from Marvel, but a little bit different. I remember him showing up in the hit show Smallville, if you remember that one, which was really awesome to see. I think this is the best portrayal of the character, though. Pierce knocked it out of the park, just like Hodge did with the Hawkman character. Now, the rest of the Justice Society, or as the team is called in the film, consists of Atom, Smasher, and Cyclone as well. I really like them. Really great casting all the way around in this film, especially this Justice Society team. I'm really, really impressed with that. Adam and Cyclone had great chemistry together. I really liked their back and forth throughout the film. Now that I think of it, I would actually love a Justice Society film. Unfortunately, Rosin's Doctor Fate will not be returning because he sacrificed himself to save Hawkman. We could see someone else inherit the helmet and become the new Doctor Fate for future projects. This is which would be totally cool. This is an awesome team that I think could become a fan favorite for audiences. Hawkman is already one of my favorite characters of the DCEU right now. Um, there are a lot of great scenes in Black Adam, but I wanted to throw out some of my favorites. The first one on the list was Black Adam's arrival, or Teth Adam, as they refer to him as in the film. They never actually call him Black Adam, which I think was a very interesting choice. Um, but I thought his arrival scene was awesome. The choreography and the special effects with the slow mo built into it was really cool. It definitely took a page right out of the Zack Snyder book. Another awesome scene was the Justice Society fighting Adam. Hawkman and Dr. Fate are freaking awesome throughout this film, but especially in this scene. This was the best portrayal of those iconic characters, I think. I'm completely satisfied with it all. Again, the choreography and the special effects were incredibly well done. Adam Smasher growing large and beating the shit out of everyone was awesome. While at the same time, Cyclone is doing her tornado thing, which was so freaking cool. I love the effects of her powers combined with her very, very bright green suit. The next scene that comes to mind is Adam versus Sabak. I'll get into this more in a bit, but I do think that the villain was a whatever villain. He was kind of poorly written. I think pretty much generic. I would have been totally okay if Black Adam was just the sole villain of this film, but it's Dwayne Johnson, so you can't have him be a complete villain in the film. Regardless, though, I think this fight was pretty awesome. Adam gets some help from Hawkman and the rest of the team, which made this fight even more awesome for the audience. Hawkman using Dr. Fate's helmet was so cool. I'm really glad that his helmet finally made it into the DCEU. This is also where we get Black Adam in his very comic accurate suit and cape, which I think was really, really cool. Dwayne Johnson just kills it in the suit. Well, he just kills the character in general. I think he did a terrific job in this film, and so bravo to him for finally getting this movie released after 15 years of being announced as Black Adam. The last scene I want to talk about is the post-credit scene. Now, this is the scene that has been circling around the internet leading up to the release of the film. The cameo in the scene was spoiled, but I did not watch it beforehand. I only heard about it. So after the fight with Sabak and Black Adam becomes the sole protector of Conduct, which is the ancient city that the movie base is pretty much centered around. He is then visited by two iconic characters. First, Amanda Waller, played again by Viola Davis. She pops up as a hologram and warns Black Adam about what would happen if he ever did leave Conduct. Of course, Black Adam doesn't back down, so Waller sends in some little extra encouragement. Henry Cavill returns as Superman to put Black Adam in his place. What an awesome moment for DC fans. Cavill is officially back in the DCEU. This has me really, really hyped for the universe now. We're going to be getting a Black Adam versus Superman movie along with a Shazam and Black Adam fight at some point, maybe even all three in the same movie. There are so many ways that they could go with this. I'm actually really excited for the future of this universe now. Shazam 2 is the next film that we will be getting. That comes out in March, I believe, of next year, followed by the Flash film, which is either June or July of next year. I cannot remember for sure. Aquaman 2 will also be coming out after that. Wonder Woman 3 is confirmed, and there are rumors of a Man of Steel 2 and a Ben Affleck Batman versus Deathstroke film. If you remember, that was the original planned Batman solo film before Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson kind of took that over. But hopefully we get some more Suicide Squad as well, or at the very least, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. She's one of those characters that I would gladly see pop up as much as possible. Let's take a quick break before switching over to the negatives that I had with the film. Tune in Friday for the premiere episode of the Harry Potter season. We will be doing it in timeline order. So up first, we have the 3 Fantastic Beasts films, followed by the 8 Harry Potter films. I am super excited for this. This is one of my favorite franchises to revisit. So grab your wands and join me on a magical journey to Hogwarts in this next chapter of Cinematic Reviews. So there are 2 main issues that I had with Black Adam, the humor and the Sabak villain. My issue with the humor is there was too much of it, and they really tried to make this into a Shazam movie. If you take out most of the humor, it's actually a really good movie. It has a compelling story, and the action is incredibly well done. I laughed maybe twice out of all the jokes, unfortunately. It felt like every other line in the film was a joke, which I personally think was a bit excessive. Now, you can make the argument that, hey, Shazam had way too much humor in it, which is totally valid. I get that argument. I just think it works better in Shazam because that is the overall tone of that film. Black Adam was set up as this violent and dark story right off the bat. When you throw in excessive amount of humor, it takes some audiences, such as myself, out of it. Luckily, the action and the great characters pull you back in because they're so well done. I just think, and I'm sure a lot of people really liked that there was a lot of humor in it, which I totally fine with. I'm just giving my opinion on it. For me, it was a little bit too much humor. If they would have maybe cut half of that down, I think it would have been a better experience for audiences like me. But totally personal preference there. Now, the Sabak villain, it makes sense to have him in this because he is a big antagonist in the comics to Black Adam. I just think he was kind of like Ares and Wonder Woman. Wasn't He was pretty generic, like I said earlier, I would have been fine with Black Adam being the main villain and then have him fight the Justice Society throughout the film. Sabak was just your typical bad guy, your typical superhero versus bad guy scenario. We've seen it 100 times. Even though I had those issues, those negatives, though, I still really enjoyed Black Adam. It's going to be tough to rank it against the rest of the universe in the next segment. If you are a DC fan, though, I do recommend you go out and see this film. It can get a bit violent at times, so be cautious of that with the younger viewers. Fun fact, it took post-production 4 rounds of editing to get this film to PG-13. I know Dwayne pushed really hard to get it rated R, but of course the studio was a little hesitant on making it rated R, but I understand because from a numbers standpoint, Warner Brothers Discovery wanted to capitalize on the profits and bring in as many audiences as they can to kind of build hype for the future of the DC. If it were me, though, I would bite that bullet and just make it rated R. Go all out on the violence and the blood and the dialogue. Just let loose on this Black Adam character. They managed to pull it off, though. It's still a really awesome film, regardless if it was PG-13 or R-rated. Maybe down the line they could release an R-rated version. That would be really cool. We've seen it done before with Deadpool. But yeah, just go out and see this. Support the film. It's awesome to see DC finally headed into the right direction. I'm really hopeful for Shazam 2 and The Flash and Aquaman and the eventual Wonder Woman 3 film. This just really, Black Adam just got me really hyped for the future, which has been an issue for me the last couple years with these kind of hit and misses with their films. I would probably give Black Adam 4 stars out of 5. Like I said, the excessive humor and the okay villain with Sabak pulls it down a bit for me, but it's still an awesome installment in the DC Extended Universe. I'm really glad that they stuck the landing with Black Adam. He's a character that will most likely be popping up all over because it's Dwayne Johnson. Come on, you got to put him in wherever you can. He is such an iconic actor and person and can draw in a lot of audiences. So that's their golden ticket is Dwayne Johnson right now. He's one of those actors that actually listens to the fans and won't back down until he gets what he wants. Which, from behind the scenes that I'm hearing, is he had a lot to do with how this film was made. He really pushed his vision onto the studio, and they agreed. They let him do whatever he wanted, except for the R-rated version. Of course, studios and politics, they wanted it PG-13 to pull in as many audiences, which I understand. DC, though, is truly lucky to have Dwayne as Black Adam, and the future is bright. My hope in the universe has been restored thanks to Black Adam, which I am really surprised about. I was a little hesitant. I really didn't have any expectations on this film, but I'm glad I did, because this film blew me away. It was such a great time in the theaters. But with that, to end the episode, let's rank Black Adam against the rest of the DC Extended Universe. So as a refresher, here's the current DC Extended Universe ranking. At number 1 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Number 2, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition. Number 3 is Man of Steel. 4 is Shazam. 5, The Suicide Squad. 6, Birds of Prey. 7, Wonder Woman. 8, Aquaman. 9, Suicide Squad. And coming in at number 10, Wonder Woman 1984. Now this is tough because even though I had a couple negatives, I still really, really enjoyed Black Adam. The cast was incredible, especially Hodge as Hawkman. The action sequences were awesome. The costumes were great as well. It's definitely better than 1984 Suicide Squad and Aquaman. I don't think it cracks the top 5 though. I had a lot more fun with the Suicide Squad and Shazam. And honestly, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, those will all be in the top 3. I don't think there will be a movie to ever break those. I would be really surprised if one of these newer films does overtake the 4th or 5th spot. That again will be kind of tough because I think those movies are awesome. Now that doesn't take away from Black Adam though. Like I've said throughout the show, I really enjoyed this film. Dwayne is such a great Black Adam. The humor just didn't work for me. There was way too much of it. They tried way too hard to make this funny like Shazam. If you take out a lot of that humor, this would rank a lot higher because I think this is a good movie. Now the question is it better than Birds of Prey or Wonder Woman? I had a lot of fun with the most recent rewatch of Birds of Prey. If you haven't listened to that episode, go check that out. I had a blast doing that one. And I love the dynamic between Steve and Diana. It's one of the highlights of this universe. The third act, though, falls apart for me every time I watch Wonder Woman. So I think Black Adam is going to go above that. Birds of Prey is a better movie overall. So Black Adam is going to be the new number 7, which is pretty impressive. I did not expect it to go that high. I just really, really like Black Adam, and I'm excited to see Dwayne in future projects. Just throw him in wherever. Throw him in a Superman movie, throw him in a Shazam movie, do team ups with them. There's many different ways that DC can do this. He will most likely be going up against Superman and Shazam next, which is really, really awesome. Probably not in Shazam 2. Maybe Man of Steel 2 if they do make that. Otherwise, they could just do some kind of team up movie with either of those guys or all 3. I would be totally game for any of those. But until then, you can, of course, find this list along with many others on both IMDb and Letterboxd. Just search for Cinematic Reviews. There are a bunch of lists on both, like the MCU, Zack Snyder films, and even Quentin Tarantino films. So check those out. There's something for everyone on there. Well, that'll do it for the DC Extended Universe Season 4 now. Cinematic Reviews will be coming back to the DC Universe when Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and the Flash film come out next year. This Friday will be the premiere episode of the Harry Potter season with Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. Also tune in every week for New Release Monday. This week's new release is a double feature with my reaction to The Rings of Power and Game of Thrones House of the Dragon. That episode will drop today along with this Black Adam one. So go check that out if you haven't yet. Come back on Friday for the Harry Potter season. Later, everyone.